You're listening to the Valley Labor Report with David Story and Jacob Morrison.
Okay, welcome back to the Valley Labor Report. My name is Jacob Morrison, here with my co-host David Story. We just had a caller, call in, and we were talking about kind of the political climate, and we left off. I was emphasizing that, look, it's much more efficient, much more effective, and you can get a whole lot more by unionizing and just fighting for it directly, right? Because you don't have to wait for anything. You just got to organize. You could start organizing to have better working conditions, better wages, better health care tomorrow. Okay, the next time you see your coworkers, you can start talking about these issues. And I had a friend text me and say, that she felt like that I wasn't hitting on reproductive issues and women's health issues being important for workers. And that's true. That's encompassed in getting health care.
This is a negotiable term.
That's that's definitely encompassed. It's important to say that as a specific issue, because that's incredibly important, and it is essential for workers, and that is just one more way that unions can help people. And that way, if you have a union and you have a powerful union in your workplace, you're fighting for each other. You don't have to rely on the politicians, on the government, on elections to make sure that you have reproductive health care, that you have the things that you need as a woman covered. You don't have to worry about the next election. It's in your contract.
Yeah.
That's a negotiable thing, and so that's if you've got a union, if you have a union in your workplace that is powerful, that you've got a lot of solidarity among your members, among your brothers and sisters, a lot of this political stuff is almost secondary, even tertiary.
Yeah.
To you yourself. Obviously, it's important because it affects the people in your community, and unions play, unions fight in elections, obviously, and we send people out and we mobilize for politicians, and we do that because it's important to fight for our community. But for us, for our needs, the elections are almost secondary or tertiary because we've already got them taken care of.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the disconnect there, is the fact that people don't understand that in a union that's a negotiable item, and the fact that if you have a unionized workplace and if you are negotiating for those health care packages, you don't have to rely on the Supreme Court to overturn, like they did with the Hobby Lobby case, like they did with the Sisters of the Nuns.
Little Sisters of the Poor or something.
So, the fact is, how long does that take? They overturn it, and then you're stuck. You're waiting on, God help us, another 8 or 10 presidential cycles down the road to get some more left-leaning Supreme justices in the courts, and that's exactly what we're saying. Maybe we don't word it well enough, but the fact is, when you fight as a union, you're not reliant, you're not beholden on the government to provide you with benefits.
Yeah, everything's on the table.
Yeah, I don't know what to say other than that.
Yeah.
That's the whole point that we're trying to make every week, and maybe we're not being detailed enough. Maybe we should talk more about these are the rights that you'll have, that you demand, that you demand in your workplace, not hoping that some politician being funded by Big Pharma or healthcare industry is going to do for you.
Yeah, and it's so it's so relieving to have that kind of autonomy, that that you're not going to have to rely, your health care, your reproductive rights is not dependent on the next election.
Lord have mercy.
Can
you imagine?
That's a scary place for people to be in. And then
I don't know that. That's the problem. I've worked union my whole life, so I don't know. I don't understand.
That is I
don't get it. I've never had to work in the service industry as a waiter or a waitress or one of these other locations and wonder, are they gonna do away with IUDs on the next one or something or another like this? It's a terrible place. And that's why we're preaching.
Right.
We can help you.
Right.
We can help you, and you can help yourself more than anything.
Right. I mean, that's all we would do. That's all we would do is help you to help yourself. We can't come in there and like wave a magic wand after going into your workplace and boom, you've got a union, right? All we can do is educate you about how you can help yourself.
Yeah.
And that's
give you the infrastructure.
And give you the infrastructure and like connect you to the people that can walk you through the process and you know, bring you into a system of support where you've got people that are trying to help you not only win a union, but win gains after you get a union.
And stand with you week to week to week.
Yes.
I mean, that is the most, like you talked about earlier, in my workplace is predominantly right-wing, Republican, libertarian style. But just like you said, regardless of political affiliations, we all stand together and support each other. When somebody goes out, you know, we're working with them to make sure they get everything that they need. And that's something that you don't get in any other workplace environment. Maybe you've got some friends, but not the whole cohesive unit. You know, the solidarity that you build there. Yeah. You don't get that in a normal workplace environment. No. I mean, how many people work over at AFGE?
Oh, thousands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so you don't have the ability to do some mutual aid with somebody that you've never met over on the other side of the arsenal, unless that union is providing that buffer between those employees and saying, hey, guess what? At this union meeting, so-and-so was sick last month. We need to help them out any way we can.
Yeah, well, you told me a couple of years ago at the AFL-CIO convention, you were talking about your machinist convention that happened a couple days prior, and how this man was like new to the union, and he like got up and was talking about how much the union means to him and his family, and how like, and you said like he was brought to tears, and this is, you know,
just about the whole room was brought to tears.
Like, and
because
I can't
you don't recognize it. It's become so old hat that this is just what we do. You don't recognize it until somebody comes out and says thank you for what you're doing.
Right.
And that's when it spurs that. Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, it becomes second nature.
Yeah. I mean, solidarity, love, respect, support. That is second nature in a union. That's just what you do. It's like, I mean, you know, I make the comparison to churches a lot. I don't, you know, I only know the church environment that I came up in, but there was a lot of love and support and solidarity between the people in that congregation that I have the only other organization that I've seen even come close to that kind of interconnectedness is a union. And you know, like, I think that's missing. Like, a lot of people, especially as we're in a more secular age where a lot of people don't go to church as much anymore, like, they just don't have these communities that they can count on for support. And
like, we're certainly not getting it in the political sphere.
Yeah, and we're telling you,
not getting it there.
You can get it from the labor movement. The labor movement, you will have millions of people that are willing to fight for you day in and day out. Join a union. And tune in again next week to the Valley Labor Report. Thanks. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your time. If you want to see what we're up to throughout the week and get our snide quips about the news of the day, then you should follow us on social media. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/Valley Labor Report. We're on Twitter at Labor Reporters. I'm on Twitter at JacobM_AL. David is on Twitter at Radical Unionist. That's spelled RADICL Unionist. If you missed part of the show and want to go back and watch it later, search YouTube for The Valley Labor Report and subscribe to our channel. You can go back and watch the full show there, and we also clip segments throughout the week. And we also upload the program on more than 11 different podcasting apps. So you can see if we're on your listening platform of choice. You can go to thevalleylaborreport.transistor.fm/subscribe. And if you appreciate our work and want to help us stay on the air, then consider throwing us a couple dollars a month on patreon.com/The Valley Labor Report.